Hello and welcome back to Mrs. Ogram's Maths. This video is going to look at a little bit of helpful information when we're dealing with quadratics and thinking about the sum and product of the roots that come out of those quadratics. So we start by writing out a general form of a quadratic equation, which you're very used to doing by now. This is the form you'd put it in if you were going to use the quadratic formula, for example. Now, we know there will be two roots, and we'll call them alpha and beta. Now, we've gone for Greek letters there, alpha and beta, so we don't get confused with the A and B and the C that's up there in our quadratic equation. Now, there's two neat little things that happen if we think about the sum of those two roots, so adding them together, and the product of them timesing them together, and they relate to pieces of that equation. So if we start with the sum, if we add those two things together, this will be the same as if we got minus b over a, meaning this b and this a from the original quadratic. And then we go to product. Multiplying our two roots together gives us c over a, this c divided by this a. Now, the reason this works, you can follow the algebra through fairly easily. I'm going to flick over to another slide that comes from another source online. I'll put the source for this set of slides into the description for this video. It has quite a bit more you can work through. So if you want to explore a little bit more on this, I'd go to this other slide. So this set of slides is available online through slideshare.net, and I will share the link in the video description. You can go through and find some more stuff. But the basic thing that I wanted to show you there we go, is that we have this bit here. If we put our two roots into factor brackets, so x minus the first root, x minus the second root, we need to times by the a that could be there at the beginning of the quadratic. If you work through multiplying out those brackets, you end up with it looking like this. And that's how we know that we get the sum of the roots is equal to minus b over a, and the product is equal to c over a. So we'll look at a couple of examples of how this might be used. So we might know what the roots are, and we want to form an equation, a quadratic, to match those roots. So if we do the sum, which would give us minus b over a, that would equal to 7. Product, we know is equal to c over a, that's going to be equal to 12. Now, if we set a to a number, say if a was 1, then minus b will be 7, c will be equal to 12, so x squared, where the a was 1, b we take as minus 7, and then plus 12 equals 0. That will work. Now, of course, a being 1 was the easiest one to pick. You might have a case where you need to set a as equal to something else. Maybe you know that it starts with a 2x squared, and then you just put 2 in for the place of a. So just here and here, where you would need to possibly put in a different value for a, and then make a different equation that also has the roots of 3 and 4. So it is possible to do other values of a as well if you needed it. Take another look at an example that's maybe a little more interesting. Okay, so for this one, we are told we need to work out the value of m, and one root is twice as big as the other. So if we put one root to be alpha, then the second root we can call 2 alpha. Okay, let's start with the sum of those roots. So the sum is equal to alpha plus 2 alpha, which is equal to 3 alpha. And we know it's the same as minus b over a. And minus b in this case is minus 6. And a is 1. So 3 alpha is equal to minus 6. Therefore, alpha must be equal to minus 2. So our first root of being equal to alpha is minus 2. Our second root is twice as big, so that is equal to minus 4. So our two roots are minus 2 and 4. And then the product will give us the value of m, which is minus 2 times minus 4, which equals 8. So that's a handy little piece of information to know about sum and product of roots. It's not absolutely essential for your journey through the algebra course of level 3 calculus, but it can be helpful for some of the questions that you come across.